Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea. Today's tea is Tetley British tea. Where is it? I don't know where it is.
Melanated!
Alright guys, it's been a minute. There has been a lot that has happened, and so this might be a rather long morning tea, but let's jump right into it. I'm gonna need everyone to leave Malia Obama alone. Let the girl be 18 years old. I don't care if you think she was off rhythm. All the black people who made comments on Twitter, y'all are ridiculous. I don't support your shenani. It's too soon. Like, if you wanted to make fun of her a year from now for not having rhythm, I would totally be there for you. But right now, we need to rally all of our support for the Obama girls because they are finally free. And we need to recognize that they have had a very sheltered, probably difficult yet privileged life, but they finally get to be teenagers. And there are some people who are upset that she missed the DNC in order to go to Lollapalooza. Girl, let her go dance and have fun with her friends. She doesn't need to go to the DNC. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's such a historic event for her to miss the first woman nominee for the There's the internet. She can watch it later on. Chelsea Clinton. I don't know her new last name, but she understands what Malia and Sasha are going through. And I really wish that she would tweet, "It's okay, girl. You didn't have to come." Oh, Bow Wow? What is... Bow Wow claimed that he doesn't understand the civil rights movement. He doesn't relate to it because his father isn't Black American. You don't understand people wanting rights because your father isn't Black American. You don't understand, like, civil rights is in the 60s was specifically pertaining to Black people and people of color, but civil rights in general refers to the rights of civilians. So, I mean, it's just like, what? Like, I just, like, his, so like, I just need for him, Raven, sometimes the Willow Smith's kids to like sit down. Like, I just need them to sit down when it comes to those issues that they really don't understand because they are in a very specific, privileged situation. So they don't understand what other people go through. Bow Wow. He's so irrelevant. He probably just did all that to make himself seem relevant again, but like, it just backfired and now people are just like, you dummy. You dumb dummy. So let's jump into this DNC, guys. In case you didn't watch the 4-day saga. So last Monday, it started with Scandal because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the chairman of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, had to step down because WikiLeaks, online leaking thing, they dropped 22,000 emails, and in those emails that they posted online, it showed that the DNC was partial towards Hillary against Bernie Sanders. So that's drama within itself in the Democratic community. Advantages given to Hillary because they really wanted Hillary to be the nominee and not Bernie Sanders, which is jacked up for sure. And a lot of his people were protesting at the convention, which a lot of people criticize. You know, a lot of Democrats criticize the Bernie, what are they called? Bernie Burns? The burnouts? I don't know. They call themselves something. The Bernie supporters who like were there in protest and they had like duct tape over their mouths saying with the word silence over them because they felt like they were being silenced and they were told to get in line and just vote for Hillary and shut up and do whatever. And in the grand scheme of things, I think that that is correct. And I think that after this election, we definitely need to have a conversation about corruption. I mean, we know it happens, but for it to be brought to the light in this manner at the eve of such an important historical national event is really, really disconcerting, and it drove a wedge in the base, and that's not what we need right now, because what we need more than anything is for Donald Trump to not be president. And for those of you who are on the fence and don't know and don't want to vote for Hillary because you think she's crooked, like, they're all crooked except for Obama. They're all liars, they're all these things, but one of the candidates actually knows how to politic. you know, and for those of you who might be thinking like, oh, what we don't need any more politicians. We need some new fresh blood. No, but we still need new fresh blood who are actually lawyers, people who know how government works and how bills work and how the Constitution works and how our system, our three, branches of government work. We don't need someone who insults judges because of their heritage. We don't need someone who's saying that they're going to kick out all of the immigrants who do most of the shitty work that we don't want to do. We don't need someone who is racist. We don't need someone who is a misogynist. We don't need these things because that's not going to help us get better as a nation, and it's going to alienate us. Like, we have guns, we have bombs, but so do other countries. And if you can only imagine, if he says something to North Korea that's incorrect, we could get bombed. And the fact that there's like an illusion that he's kind of in bed with Vladimir Putin, which is Russia, like, which has been our longtime enemy, like, all of that is just really, really unacceptable. And you guys, we will be getting ourselves in a much more of a shitstorm with the rest of the world than we already are. And we don't need that because we have actual people with actual lives and actual children that would like their children to grow up in a safe environment that doesn't involve the rest of the world banding together to hate us because Donald Trump doesn't know how to talk to people. This isn't a business room, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, yes, you can try to run the United States like it's a business, but it also is a business with heart. And so you have to take that in consideration. And Trump, doesn't like to pay people that he owes money. So he doesn't care about people. And we don't need somebody who doesn't care about people in other countries in the White House. It's a lot of balls up in the air when you're president. It's more than just lowering taxes and bombing ISIS. It's way more than that. I know you have other people on your team for sure, but you have to know how to guide them. You have to trust, like Mike Pence, like, okay, I'm going on a tangent. All right, so Democratic National Convention, the DNC, in case you didn't watch it, we had Reverend William Barber II, who took them to church. They didn't know what they were prepared for. They didn't know what was going to happen. He hobbled onto the stage and he put it down for them. I felt like he was invoking like a little bit of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was evoking a little bit of Al Sharpton. There was a little bit of Jesse Jackson in there without all the scandal. And then he laid it out for us, and he took them to church. I was in the room like, hallelujah. And the church said, amen. Michelle got on stage on Monday and she basically tore the house down. She basically got up there with poise and composure and made a riveting speech where she talked about, families, and she talked about what it means to be in the White House and hold that office, and talking about, when they go low, when the RNC goes low or the Republicans go low, when Trump goes low, we go high as Democrats. And that's kind of the theme. That was basically the theme for the entire DNC. Like, it was like, okay, we're not going to sink to their level. Their convention was about hate and scare. Well, I wouldn't say it was about hate because they don't see that way. But their convention was more like, oh, this country is terrible. We need to make it great again. Oh, the Democrats have done this. Obama did that. Oh, I'm going to do it better. So it was a lot of negativity towards the country and where we are as a country and where we are as a people. She also made a comment about how it's like a great thing that where we are in our country, how the White House was built by slaves and now her two daughters are raised in the White House, and what that means and how far our country has come and whatnot. And Bill O'Reilly and another personality from Fox News took it upon themselves to have an opinion about that statement. Bill O'Reilly did his research, and he in fact found out that those slaves that built the White House were well fed. So, and they also weren't the only ones who were working on the White House. It was also poor whites and freed Black people. So, and then another commenter on Fox News was like, why did she have to bring up slavery? Ugh, like, this wasn't the time or place. Like, this is not your convention, so you don't need to worry about why she brought up slavery. Because for those of us who don't want to act like it didn't exist or don't talk about it or pretend that it's not an issue. You know, those of us who are okay with talking about slavery in a realistic light and like talking about it like human beings and adults, like we're okay with that comment because it is indeed a fact and it does show progress. So Michael Bloomberg got on stage, and Michael Bloomberg is another, you know, New York millionaire, just like Trump. And he actually has been a Democrat, then he turned Republican, and now he's an independent. And he just basically got on stage and was like, come on, people, you can't vote for Trump. I know this man. You can't vote for this foolishness. Like, he's not going to be good for our country. And Michael Bloomberg, yes, is a millionaire who became a politician, but he also became the mayor of New York City after 9/11, like right after he got voted into office. He was mayor of New York City for 12 years. I actually lived in New York City under Bloomberg. And as much as I didn't agree with stop and frisk and some of his policies, like, he still was a decent mayor. Trump is a swindler and he steals people's money. Like, why would you want that person? Because he's a good businessman and he has tremendous success. So what? So then Tim Kaine got on stage. I don't know what day. I think this was like Wednesday. And yeah, I mean, at first I was like, who is this like dad? Like, who is this dad? And he seems like a just really nice guy. I could honestly see him in a Santa Claus outfit at Christmas. Like, he has kind eyes. He made fun of Trump, which was the only person who really made fun of Trump. He did like a Trump impression. He was like, believe me. He kept saying that and it was hilarious. But it was also very endearing. And I was just like, all right, he is on the ticket with Hillary as vice president. So let's go, since we're talking about vice presidents, let's talk about Joe Biden. Now, I didn't find Joe Biden's speech particularly moving. I did think that it was very solid and it was really good, and he got up there and he like did what he needed to do for a specific group of voters. It didn't touch me, but I could see how it could touch other people. The people who weren't sure of Hillary, but who were still staunchly Democrat. He reached in and got those people who, the older generation, the people who trust Joe. I trust Joe. There's something very endearing about him, especially because like Joe has been through a lot in his life. As a human, as a politician, he's had a lot of loss. His son died last year. Like, so Joe is like a real dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a real guy. And for him to get up there and speak, it's just spoke volumes. I feel like Joe Biden is like the Democrats' John McCain, where like you may like he's just like he's, you know, he's just a guy, and you know that he's a politician, but you also know that he's a real person. You also know that he cares about the people and the country, and you believe him. You may not be with him 100% on all of his policies, all the things that he wants to do, but you believe him. You're like, hey, this is a cool dude. This is a guy I relate to. And I think that Joe Biden really did that, and he solidified a certain faction of the Democratic Party to come together and rally behind Hillary. And then Bill Clinton got on there. I mean, his speech was 45 minutes and boring to me too. He talked so much about how he met Hillary. I think that his main purpose for his speech was to humanize her and make her seem like a fun-loving woman and wife and mother. And I never see her as this like battle axe, the way people paint her. Like, even if she is, like, who cares? Like, this is how you have to be in politics. And she's a person. If she were a man, nobody would be calling out all these things that they're calling out about her. Bill Clinton was there to show that. And so he got those people rallied. I was like, okay with it, but it was a little bit like long-winded. And I just was like, oh, Bill is so old. Man, I didn't know he was that old. It's like, you know, I guess he was the first president that I like actually remember. Like, I remember Bush in the White House, but I was like, very young. Clinton is the first president that I was like, Clinton, he plays the saxophone. He's in the beginning of the cartoon I watch, you know. And then Clinton plays the sax. We're animaniacs. And then Barack Obama got there. Whew. Don't boo, vote. That really stood out for me. He was like, don't boo. What? Don't boo, vote. Go out there and vote. And that's so true. That's so true. Obama wasn't as petty as I wanted him to be. I wanted him to be so petty, but he wasn't. And Tim Kaine gave me that. But he was very like particular with what he said. He said it in a very calm manner, as he has to. And he just got up there and said what he needed to say in ways that, you know, would have made anybody watching it go, And I even had my Republican friend at work. She was like, I liked his speech. So that my friend staunchly believes that Obama just goes around the Democratic way of doing things to get things done. Like, she I don't know what she listens to, but somehow she staunchly believes that he takes back roads and tries to go around Congress in order to get bills passed. Who is spinning that to you? Because, like, he can't, because Congress won't let him actually do anything. So how is he going around them? And if he does go around them, it's because they won't let him do anything. Mitch McConnell. Hillary Clinton got on there. Her speech was like an hour and something. I'm gonna just be honest with you, girl. I couldn't listen to that speech. It was uplifting. It was great. She was a great orator. She came out in all white, which I thought looked really good on her. And I'm gonna vote for her. So I really didn't need to like hear the specific things because like there's no competition. I voted for Bernie Sanders. For real. I voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary because something about Hillary, I don't trust her. But now that I've like watched the DNC, I trust her a little bit. Not trust is the wrong word. I always knew she was qualified, but I want things to happen. And I feel like she's more of a game player and a politician than Bernie Sanders is. And so I wanted him in the office, but she won the nomination and that's fine. So I'm going to vote for her. And I think that it's historic. We might have the first woman president and I'm into it. Like I support it 100%. So I don't think our country is going to go into the shitter if she becomes president. I don't think that we're going to fall apart if she becomes president. So like, I'm okay with it. Trump, I believe the exact opposite. I would honestly, a little part of me wants Trump to win to see what the fuck happens because like that would be so interesting to happen in my lifetime for reals, for reals. There was no former Republican president at that RNC. No one was there. John McCain wasn't there. No one of any Republican substance was there. Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that tell you something about this candidate? None of the Bushes were there. They've had 2 presidents in the White House. Barbara Bush is against Trump. She doesn't know how any woman could vote for Trump. Barbara Bush, she's been in the game for so many years and she's like, what? And like Jeb should have been the nominee. Jeb should have honestly been the nominee. I'm going to be real with you. I would have been okay with Jeb Bush being president. I don't agree with him, but I would have been okay with it. Oh, Trump going against the Khan family. Okay, so in case you guys don't know this drama. So the Khan family came out on stage and talked at the DNC, and they talked about their slain son. He was Muslim, they're Muslim, and they are part of the armed forces, right? Military, U.S. military, and he died while on a mission. And so they brought the family out to talk about like, you know, Muslims are a part of this country too, and you can't ban Muslims. Muslims are serving in the military, and they're fighting against ISIS as well. This isn't a Muslim problem; it's a terrorism. It's a fundamentalist problem with ISIS, and it's not all Muslims. So trying to ban them is ridiculous. So they brought this couple out on stage so they could talk about their son and whatnot. And when the mother got on stage, she couldn't talk because she's still grieving heartily for her son. There's a big picture of her son on stage, and she walks out and she let her husband do the talking because it was just too much for her emotionally. She was just trying to keep it together while she was on that stage, girl. So then Donald Trump made some comment about that, like saying that, oh, you know, he didn't even let her talk. Like the husband didn't even let the woman talk and blah, 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 because he was making comments about Muslims. So when they came out on stage, they made a comment about him talking about Muslims not serving in the armed forces or not Muslims, you know, wanting to kick Muslims out of the country when they are a part of this country as anyone else. And so he reacted to that by making that comment about the wife. So then they go on and have an interview with, I believe, Lawrence O'Donnell. They have a conversation with Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC. As a good liberal, I watch MSNBC. And where they talk about, like, how dare Trump talk about us and how dare Trump talk about my wife. And the wife was talking and, you know, you could tell she's very nervous, but she was trying to talk and say, like, don't talk about our family and don't talk about me and all these things. And we're patriots and my son died for this country and I'm still grieving. And, you know, it's just tacky of him to do all this stuff and to talk about them. So he comes back again and says, you know, I never said that. You guys attacked me, blah, blah, blah. He is attacking civilians. This is a man who wants to be president of the United States, and he is attacking civilians whose child died in Iraq. I don't understand how anyone could support him. He's attacking this family who made the ultimate sacrifice, their son, to the U.S. military. And he's attacking them because he felt like they were attacking him. They're civilians. Civilians are going to attack you, Donald. You need to be able to rise above that. They didn't even attack him. They're just saying that his notion that Muslims shouldn't be here is faulty and wrong and racist. And it is. Not even racist. I don't know what that is. Religionist? I don't know. Ted Cruz was like, vote your conscience. Ted Cruz is so salty, but I was so with him for that comment. I was so with him for that. All right, guys, that's the end of Morning Tea. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. Have a fantastic day. Bye.